think they want honesty, but they don't. They want certainty, and the moment you speak your mind, they start building a map of you, what you desire, what you fear, what you'll fight for, and what you'll surrender to. It doesn't matter if you mean well, because in the wrong hands, your truth is just ammunition. That's why Machiavelli didn't say, be honest. He said, be strategic. To him, intentions were not meant to be revealed. They were meant to be disguised, layered, encrypted, because once they see the shape of your goal, they'll find ways to stop you from reaching it. The more predictable you become, the easier it is to corner you. Ask yourself, how many times has openness cost you your leverage? How often has transparency become vulnerability? You thought sharing your plan would build trust, but all it built was resistance. Because when people know what you want, they start imagining how to control it, not out of malice, but instinct. Control is how people protect themselves. They box what they understand. They attack what they don't. But here's the twist. The more they can't define you, the more power you hold. You become a question mark, not a target. This doesn't mean lying. It means preserving silence. It means holding your tongue when your ego wants to speak. It means letting mystery protect your path, because mystery does something to the human brain. It makes people curious. It makes them cautious. It forces them to guess, and most of the time, they guess wrong. So they hesitate. They don't know whether to challenge you, follow you, or fear you. And in that hesitation, you move. You act while they're still thinking. You become 3 steps ahead because they can't even find step 1. Invisibility is underrated. In a world that worships exposure, concealment is power. And the most powerful move is often the one no one saw coming. You don't have to lie. You just have to say less. Because every time you over-explain, you hand them the blueprint to disarm you. They don't need to attack you directly. They just need to weaken what you're building. One question, one doubt, one well-timed silence at a time. This is the trap of being understood. Once they think they know you, they stop respecting you. They start calculating you. Your dreams become dissected. Your motives become debated. And your decisions second-guessed. Machiavelli knew that people don't fear the known. They fear the unclear, the ones who speak less but do more. Because silence creates space, and in that space, people project their own fears. They wonder, what is he really thinking? What does she want? Why didn't they respond? And that uncertainty keeps them off balance. The moment they're unsure, they hesitate, and in hesitation you gain time. In time you gain position, and with position you control the board. It's not about deception. It's about not making yourself obvious. The most dangerous player isn't the loudest. It's the one you never saw coming. They don't announce their plans. They prepare quietly. And by the time you realize what they're doing, it's already done. That's how power moves. Not with noise, but with precision. So ask yourself, are you playing to be seen? Or are you playing to win? There's a difference. The ones who need to prove themselves will always reveal too much, because they crave applause more than victory. But the ones who move in silence, they don't need recognition. They only need results. Machiavelli didn't just preach secrecy, he practiced it. Even his allies often didn't know where he truly stood, because his power came not from clarity, but from ambiguity. When people are unsure what side you're on, they treat you carefully. When they're unsure what you want, they can't block you. And when they can't predict you, they can't control you. So in a world that rewards exposure, choose to be invisible, not forever, just long enough to move while no one's looking. There's a silent war that begins the moment someone tries to understand you. It starts with curiosity, but it doesn't stay innocent, because once they think they understand your motives, they start predicting you, then controlling you, then rewriting your story to fit their comfort. This is how people turn intention into manipulation, not by force, but by perception. The clearer your intentions, the easier it is to bend them. Say you're trying to build something meaningful, a relationship, a business, a boundary. The moment others know what it means to you, they begin testing it. Not always with malice, but even friends, even family start pushing, poking, wondering how far they can go before you bend. Because to them, your intentions are like puzzle pieces. Once they put the picture together, they think they own the game. That's why Machiavelli believed, if you want to keep control, don't hand them the script. Let them guess. Let them project. Let them feel the tension of not knowing where you stand, because that tension makes them cautious. It makes them respectful. Sometimes it even makes them afraid, not because you're dangerous, but because you're unreadable. And in a world of shallow minds, being unreadable is a threat. People want labels. They want neat boxes. You're ambitious, or selfish, or emotional. But when they can't name you, they can't use you. So you remain undefined, untouchable. Not because you're hiding, but because you're not handing them the knife they might someday turn against you. There's a deeper reason to conceal your intentions, psychological sovereignty. When you reveal too much, you tie your self-worth to their reaction, and suddenly their approval becomes your compass. But when you hold your ground in silence, you stop asking for validation. You move because you decided. You speak when it matters, and you walk away without needing applause. That is true control. Not over others, but over yourself. Because the person who can't be manipulated is not the one who fights back the hardest. It's the one who never gave the other side a handle to pull. That's why concealment isn't weakness. It's restraint. It's intelligence. It's power, without the noise. They won't expect silence to be your strength. They're used to noise, to oversharing, to people explaining themselves into weakness. So when you speak little, they assume you have little to say. But what if silence is not emptiness, but a shield? Machiavelli understood that control isn't about domination, it's about direction. And when no one knows your direction, they can't block your path. You don't need to hide everything. You just need to reveal nothing fully. Partial truths, polite deflections, well-placed questions that turn attention back on them. You're not deceiving, you're disarming, because the more they think they understand you, the less prepared they are for what you're really planning. They'll build narratives around your silence. They'll project their own fears, their own hopes. And that's the beauty of concealment. It gives you space to evolve privately, to change direction, to strike when it matters, without broadcasting your every move. You become unreadable, and unreadable people are unmanageable. This is what Machiavelli taught. Power isn't always in the sword. Sometimes it's in the smile you give while hiding your blade. Because if they knew what you were really after, they'd sabotage you. Not always with intent, sometimes with love, with concern, with advice. But interference is interference, and your path requires clarity of purpose, not clarity to others. So protect it, not with walls, but with ambiguity. You don't need to fight for power. You just need to make them unsure enough not to fight you, and the more uncertain they are, the more control you gain without lifting a single weapon. But this is just the beginning, because hiding your intentions is one thing, but appearing honest while doing it, that's where the real power lies. To master perception, to wear sincerity like a second skin even as you move pieces behind the curtain. That's where we go next. In the next chapter, we'll explore why those who appear most trustworthy often hold the deepest strategies, and how Machiavelli's next law teaches the art of honest deception. But for now, ask yourself, what if the reason you're being controlled is not because they're stronger, but because you're too easy to read?